Okay, welcome everyone to Progressive Discussions Hard-Hitting Truth. I'm here with my close friend and co-host, the one and only Jeff Zambello. How are you doing, sir, today, this Monday?
Very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
This is an important subject that needs to be discussed and debated.
Yes.
In open forum.
Yes, and being that Monday is the least most popular day of the week, because usually people are very busy on Mondays and they really hate Mondays. I look at it this way. Every day it consists of 24 hours. So any day could be a bad day or a good day. But
That's right.
Right. Now, what I want to start off by telling the folks out there, the viewers, that the U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment, is in danger. In this case, it is a consenting adult's right to adult entertainment, and in the privacy of his or her own conversation, and in the privacy of his or her own home, they have a right to a sexual life, adult entertainment. Now,
as long as it's of legal age,
yes,
and consensual.
Yes, sir. As long as it is of legal age. And I just want to blow the trumpet of truth before we begin. This is a serious show. 7 lucky bells. I'm not going to use any props. That's it. Now, I want to start off by telling a story about what happened to me. Facebook Messenger sent me a private inbox warning me of the content of my conversation with a friend in private, okay, through Facebook Messenger, which means that they are spying on our private conversations, okay? It's none of Facebook upper management or Mark Zuckerberg's fucking business what people discuss in private. Number one. Okay, now, our private conversations are spied upon. Then I want to bring up the fact that the government has closed. This is not new. This is old hat. But the government has completely closed down the adult section of Craigslist.com. And even worse, the government has completely closed down the entire website called Backpage.com because of the adult section. Now, this reminds me, Jeff Zambello, of the waste of police hours in sting operations targeting prostitutes and johns. I call it frivolous, victimless, so-called bullshit crimes. They have nothing better to do. They can't go after real kingpin criminals. They have to go after prostitutes and johns with sting operations. Now, this is an ongoing zealot religious nut thing where, like prohibition back in the day, that stupid law about consuming alcohol called prohibition, that was created by zealots. Now, I want to get your take on this subject. It's all yours.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. There's something called a casting couch, the infamous casting couch of Hollywood. And so what happens is these big fat cats out in Hollywood, they lure these girls into temptation, into having sexual intercourse and oral sex with these fat, old, balding, ugly, hairy men. Disgusting.
Yes.
Married men. Sometimes 3, 4, 5 times married men. And so, anyways, these actresses get cast into these very, very sexually charged movies, like the movie Unfaithful with Diane Lane and Richard Gere, movies with Angelina Jolie, let me see, American Pie, or American Beauty, sorry, with Kevin Spacey. Let me see, all these movies. So what happens is they sexually charge these men, or series like Mad Men, where there's nudity, or Banshee, with the HBO series, or Sopranos, where there's a lot of nudity and sexuality in it. So anyways, some of these series are very, very well written. So there's an art form to it. And there's an art form to these sexually charged movies. A lot of times they're very good. They're not trash. They're very, very expensive to make. They have a lot of investors, like Stephen Mnuchin. Everybody knows who Stephen Mnuchin is. He's in the cabinet, President Trump's cabinet. He's the head of the Treasury, the Secretary of the Treasury. But he's a Hollywood movie producer. But when poor, lonely men, whether they're single or married, they get extorted by local police with sting operations. I've seen horror stories. On the show Cops, where it's televised, I saw an African-American minister, a Protestant minister, in a hotel room, getting solicited by an undercover policewoman. And as soon as he gave the money over to this undercover policewoman, who was acting like a prostitute, a bunch of policemen stormed out of the closet in the hotel room and arrested this man. He's the pastor, the minister of an entire church. You wrecked his life. How does he go back to the church and retain his $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year job? And the guy's middle-aged. Where does he start from there? Was he stock shelves at Walmart at 3 in the morning?
Yeah.
I mean, they destroy lonely people's lives. Oh, well, he's a minister. He should know better. You know what? People are lonely. You don't know what the hell goes on in their house. Leave these guys alone, for God's sakes. I mean, they're hiring prostitutes who are more than willing. They're the ones out in the street. Oh, well, they got a pimp chasing them. You know what? Whatever. And there's a lot of these places, they have fixed buildings. Okay? There's so many massage parlors around. Okay? And girls are clean, this and that. And I guess the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well, and Nevada does, the health department does certify these girls and examine them.
And sanctions it.
Yes, and they pay, and they pay, maybe they even pay taxes.
But these are not underage girls, okay? And we're not the bad guys. James and I are not bullies, okay? These are consensual women. I get a friend, okay, at the gym I go to, there's a bunch of ladies, they're strippers. And I know this because my friends go to strip clubs.
Right.
So I say, boy, she's a pretty attractive woman over there. Oh, didn't you know she's a dancer at the strip club? Really? Okay. And then I'll see certain guys walk over to them. I'm like, okay. Anyways, so I said this to one of my friends. I said, gee, that girl over there, somebody so-and-so told me that girl's a dancer at the club. Yeah? Well, why does that surprise you, Jeff? Well, it's kind of funny because all the guys are going over to her because she probably, does lap dances with me. He goes, so what? He says, let me tell you something. He says, I have friends that are nurses at the hospital, female nurses of the hospital. They make good money. Nurses make about $80,000 to $100,000 a year up here. But they love for a fantasy to go on the stage at a strip club. They don't need the money, but they think it's so sexually arousing to them. It's a fantasy of theirs to strip in front of men.
Yeah. Well,
men that are strangers.
In the late 1970s and 1980s, there was an establishment called Plato's Retreat. There was one in Manhattan and one in Los Angeles. And I remember Jesse Ventura wearing a Plato's Retreat T-shirt when he entered the WWE. And it was a swingers club. And it was a huge swingers club with food and whatever, music, and it had everything. Without getting into detail, they had everything that an open relationship couple can desire. And of course, eventually, Mario Cuomo, then governor of New York, closed them all down when the AIDS epidemic started. And but getting back to what you were saying before, the magic word is hypocrisy. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, the hawk-nosed control freak geek, Mark Zuckerberg, he could spam the hell out of you. He could allow fake profile scammers to try to scam you. He can bombard even your
something like fake diamonds. Or, sorry, very expensive diamonds with cracks. Anyways, go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
But what I mean is, even when you have private conversations on Facebook, he's forcing advertisement in your private conversations now, and everybody. Oh, Tumblr! I forgot to mention. Tumblr has Tumblr has announced that there will be no more adult-oriented profiles allowed on Tumblr, and all the hookers, whatever, escorts, whatever you want to call them, all the escorts and established...
You mean mistresses? Now, let me tell you something about Tumblr and all these other...
They're going to be closed. They're going to be closed down.
Okay? Yeah. These corporations are owned by shareholders. These shareholders think that they do not have feces, skid marks in their underwear, okay? They really do, and they stink. And so what I'm trying to say is all these fat cats have mistresses on the side.
Yes.
Okay? All right. So they're cheating on their wives. But yet, now they're virgins that they're closing down the back page of Tumblr or whatever, right?
Back page
You can't
Tumblr,
do that.
Yeah.
Who's it hurting?
The little guy.
Oh, I have a daughter. Yeah, your daughter goes to Harvard or MIT. So what?
Hey, I'm sure Heidi Fleiss has sent escorts to congressmen and senators and CEOs of corporations. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm getting, I'm talking.
All these guys have double lives. whether it's Denny Hastert, the wrestling coach, homosexual, that was the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, and he had $3 million in hush money to his gay lover, and all these other boys that he molested when he was a wrestling coach. But he's actually Dennis Hastert was actually a real wrestling coach, unlike a fake one, to overcompensate for his blue-collar job. But I digress. We won't mention that person's name.
Oh, you mean the very tall, thinly mustachioed gentleman?
Mustachioed individual. Anyways, so I still haven't found what high school or college he was a wrestling coach at, but and what credentials he had. Anyways, and then all these other people, they get caught with their pants down. The South Carolina governor who had a lover from South America, I think Argentina, maybe he had to divorce his wife. Then you had the guy, the New Jersey governor, I forget his name, Grady or Griffin or whatever his name was. He had to resign because he was homosexual.
Steve,
all these guys,
Steve.
every single, the more Protestant they are, the more mistresses they have.
That was, I think,
every gosh darn. Oh my gosh! Come on.
That was Jim.
Billy Graham did not have a mistress.
Yeah, that was Jim. Okay. That was Governor.
Other than Billy Graham, they all have mistresses. Come on.
That was Governor Jim McGreevey who.
McGreevey, and he had a blonde wife. His wife was pretty hot looking, wasn't she?
Yeah, but his marriage was probably like when Merv Griffin married Zsa Zsa Gabor. That was like a fake marriage. Yeah, because Merv Griffin's real lover was Denny Terrio of Dance Fever, from what I understand. Yeah. So.
You mean he couldn't get away from his girl, the Freemason he got?
Yeah, he couldn't get enough of his girl, Denny Terrio, right? And
then he put it on the bookshelf, never to be used again.
Yeah, well, in those days, people stood in the closet. In those days,
Yeah.
But anyway, hypocrisy is abound. They are such hypocrites, these politicians, when they get all melodramatic and.
The evangelicals are worse.
Yeah. They're so full of crap. They're all waiting for the highest bidder. They're holding out for the highest bidder. It doesn't matter what political party they belong to. They play a big violin, and they have a private life, like you said before, Jeff Zambello. They have a private life.
In all seriousness, right? Who cares if Donald Trump had an affair 12 years ago with Stormy Daniels?
Listen.
He didn't really have an affair. He had sex with her one time, or maybe two times at the most.
You know what guys? You know how guys are when they're young, especially if they're on spring break in college or in they're high school kids. They do all sorts of crazy things. I mean,
who hasn't played doctor in the woods with the little sticks?
You kidding me? Or what about Twister? The game Twister. Remember that?
Yeah.
We all know what Twister's about.
Anyways, it's just a pretty hypocritical world.
When it's co-ed, especially if you're using almond oil or baby oil or something. But anyway, the point is that the systems, whether it be government or corporate fascists, they're closing down everything that is related to adult entertainment and sensuality. You name it, between Tumblr and Craigslist and Backpage and Facebook Messenger. It's like community stand. Fuck you, Zuckerberg, you hawk-nosed cocksucker.
Yeah, but how come it's okay for them to go on vacations to topless beaches like South Beach in Miami, or go to Jamaica, where they have these, they call them heretic resorts where there's like such wild sex.
Oh, you're talking about hedonism in Jamaica.
Hedonism. But see, they can afford all this. But what about the poor lonely guy? He's making $30,000, $40,000 a year, and he's horned up.
Yeah,
he's paying alimony, child support. let him have some fun, for Christ's
Listen,
sake.
hedonism has been around for a long
He's
time.
not hurting anybody, James.
It's in a section. They're not hurting anybody. It's in a section of Jamaica, I believe, called Negril. And my friend, a friend of mine, little Jimmy Pesto, when he was dating this redhead named Chrissy, they went to one of those wild swingers resorts in Cancun, and he told me stories about how people are wandering the hallways looking for some strange slab of beef to hook up with.
Hey, James, how about some stringy pastrami out in San Francisco? Anyways, I digress.
Yeah, they're probably walking around with this bell, or the hotel bell, but actually it says here, this is a Valentine's Day bell. It says ring for a kiss on the bell. They're probably ringing the bell in a swingers resort. Hey, honey, would you, since this is a swingers club, do you want to, you want to come to my room and leave a boyfriend or husband here, and but the point is they're consenting adults.
Yeah, and when they go back home, they don't even think about this person.
No, well, look at the show. Look at that homewrecker show, a reality show called Temptation Island on the USA Network. Where couples go to this resort on this island, and other very attractive people try to make them stray from their relationship. Gee, that's a real nice reality show, isn't it?
Yeah, that's teaching the kids good. So see, they're putting that stuff on television, right? Because Hollywood producers, with their casting couches, they're making money.
They're teaching.
But when you're on a private message, right, and they're not making money, then it's not okay, James.
The sleazebags of Hollyweird, the secret society.
Hollyweird, that's right.
The secret society, Hollyweird hawk noses will do anything to make a buck. So they created Temptation Island, and they're teaching young people that it's okay to be a homewrecker.
Yeah, and John F. Kennedy and Ted Kennedy and Robert Kennedy asked not what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country. They all had mistresses. It was public information. There's such hypocrisy.
Hey, what do you think all these Hollywood parties consist of? People are not, people are naive. They read the National Enquirer, don't they? But, the thing is that they're hypocrites. These zealots that bother prostitutes, they bother Johns, they arrest them, they put the poor guy's name and photo.
Don't do as I do.
Right. They put the poor guy's name and photo in a local newspaper to embarrass him. Oh, you know what? Look at yourselves, politicians. And you know what? It's really ridiculous that people in the adult entertainment industry cannot even advertise anymore on the internet because they're closing down all the adult sections. We got 2 people watching and no one's commenting. Oh, you got a real pair of balls there, people.
Yeah, but who cares who we're talking to on Facebook? It's like, who cares?
Yeah, Zuckerberg, it's none of your fucking business who anybody.
Kids in high school don't really care.
Privately, and I cannot overemphasize the word privately. Talk to, whether regardless who it is. If the girl is asking about a man's penis, or the man is asking about the woman's vagina, and she's ready to get into a shower, and she's flashing him, in the shower. Regardless, it's none of your damn business, Zuckerberg, to be sending people messages about your hypocritical community standards. You hear what I'm saying? Hypocritical.
It's like somebody who else has standards. They're supposed to be going home at 4 a.m. Somebody didn't go home, and they stay an extra couple of days in Wisconsin, but we're not going to mention. But there's nothing in New York City. But anyways, those are standards, and I guess they're all virgins when they stay 2 extra days in Wisconsin.
Well, that particular thinly mustachioed carnival huckster is always talking about professionalism, and these are only my friends. They're only my friends, and I am a professional.
My friends, but anyways.
I am a professional. Sure you are. Just buy me dinner and a cocktail. And everything, we're all...
Now, how dare we talk about his friends? I protect my friends.
I protect my friends. Well, you know what? Your friends have to...
how about your wife? Protect your wife.
Protect your wife. Isn't it funny how all the friends that this charlatan that does physical fitness seminars all over the country and the world, it's funny how the friends that he protects have 2 breasts and a vagina.
Yeah, it is kind of coincidental.
Yeah, unless the man is hooking him up with a gig at his...
Exactly, or picking him up at the airport.
Right.
And then
doing
state police is saying, move along.
Now, don't they call these people opportunists? People that...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but getting
back... They also call them 3 times in front of the judge, too. Half of a half of a half.
Yes, community property in California law. That's right.
Yeah. Good luck with the pension then.
Yeah, community property, California law. But it's insane. The hypocrisy is absolutely insane, and I don't know. It's just leave consenting adults alone. There's nothing wrong with straight heterosexual people. Listen to the words I'm using. All you neoliberals out there. There's nothing wrong with straight heterosexual people wanting to get laid if they're consenting adults. Those are magical words.
It's just because they're the little guys. Like they're the middle class or the low middle class people, and everybody picks on the low middle class. But the rich people can do whatever they want.
Yeah, the elitists can do anything they want, and the elitists write the laws, unfortunately, and like all
the crookery with Hillary Clinton. What about her husband? How many stains does he put on people's dresses?
Well,
in Arkansas and Washington D.C. and every place else.
Well, what I wanna ask you about is
nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
What is this bullshit about arresting the little guy? When I say the little guy, I mean middle class or poor man or woman. What is with this law called if you have intent, you're guilty of a crime based on intent? Don't you have to sort of like commit the crime to be guilty of it?
Yeah, actually do it. Yeah, everybody has an intent. I have an intent of becoming a millionaire. Now, whether I become a millionaire or not doesn't mean jack crap unless I do it.
I mean, I would love to see Jeff Zambello's name in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, with the stars on the sidewalk. I mean, but whether or not it ever happens, we don't know. But intent. Now that means an undercover, a very attractive undercover, or she could be ugly too. An undercover detective, a female police officer can pretend.
Tight spandex.
Can pretend on the internet to be 25 years old when, or no, I'm sorry. She can pretend to be a minor, let's say, but she's really like 27 years old, let's say.
Okay.
So this undercover female detective is guilty of entrapment when you think about it, because she is pretending she's lying to the man that she's an adult.
Usually they're men policemen. They're like middle-aged policemen that are pretending to be like 14-year-old girls. Yeah.
Right. Or they could say they're 22, and then they can change their mind and say, well, yeah, I'm sorry, I lied. I'm really 16 years old. but in reality, it could be a 30-year-old cop.
Yeah.
So then, like on that show, the dude walks in and they
2020 had it too with Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters. They had a whole thing on that too.
Yeah. They crucify the guy, but he never technically like did anything. But
Nothing.
Based on
intent. ABC News television with like 20 million or 200 million viewers, and everybody. How do you recover from that?
Hey, maybe I had a theory, not a theory, a hunch. You think maybe all this crap that they're dragging on CNN is just to get people to view the commercials put out by sponsors?
Yeah, and who owns these companies?
In other words,
anyways,
the oligarch owns pretty much controls the media and pays off the politicians. So maybe they want everybody to be glued to the network so you can see the sponsors' advertisements. Maybe it's all rigged. Maybe the whole fucking system is rigged, like they say. But let's stick to the topic. Adult entertainment is the right of consenting adults to want to have a sex life, whether it be a little perverted or whether
a lifestyle unto itself.
Yeah.
But all these other lifestyles, James, are protected. Yeah. You can't say anything else against the gross. If people want to have sex with animals, I guess that's within their rights. But when it's with two consenting adults, it's taboo.
Well, it's that if you're straight and heterosexual, you're not allowed, and you're single, you're not allowed to have a sex life. Now for them, it's for them to force people. Well, what if a man is, because of the man-hating feminist movement, what if a man is single and can't find a nice girl to settle down with, and
because they're always job interviewing you every time you go to a dance club. Oh, how much money do you make? Oh no, what do you do? I just met you, Atlantic City, New Jersey.
What do you do?
What do you mean? What do I do?
What do you do for a living? Well,
I went to high school here. Yeah. I went to college here. For your resume?
Well, I noticed like Chinese and Korean women are very. Mostly Chinese they'll ask a man right off the bat, what do you do? And if you're retired, they'll say, well, what did you used to do? Hey, what about asking a man what his hobbies are, his interests, his passions?
Well, he's not married. Like, that's the important part. You get all these married guys going to these clubs, and they're picking up broads because they got a couple of bucks in their pocket.
Right.
What about single guys or divorced guys who want to meet a nice girlfriend?
Right. Well, considering the fact that women of all ages are hypnotized by their smartphones, even in a dance club, they're hypnotized by their smartphones. Even in the doctor's office, they're staring at their smartphones and texting and everything. In other words, people are addicted to the internet via the smartphone or the tablet. So, and before that, women used to have the MP3 earplugs listening to music all the time. Everywhere they went, they had the earplugs. Well, that means, maybe that means they don't want to be hit on by men, which comes back to the feminine.
How come they're wearing these tight, very tight and revealing crevices attire?
Well, which comes back to the feminist movement. They're man haters. They don't want straight heterosexual people to get together and hook up. They don't want that. They want to separate straight heterosexuals.
What a world.
Yeah.
I don't mind if somebody's loosely dressed and they're working out and they're shaking, because you can't see the shaking if they're wearing proper gym attire. But when they're in there and their stuff's like 2 sizes too tight, and then they're doing jump rope or they're doing whatever they're doing, jumper jacks, and they're shaking on. But if you look over there, you're going to get the cops in the goddamn gym.
Yeah, well, they dress to attract attention. Obviously, even women that go to a bar or a nightclub, they dress to attract attention.
Yeah, the boobs are spilling out of the dresses. But go ahead.
Otherwise, they wouldn't purchase and wear such an outfit. But if you stare at them, if you gaze at them, they get angry that you're looking at them. And if they're
then
with
when you ask them to dance, they're like, "Oh, I'm just here dancing with my friends."
Well, if they're with their boyfriend, the funny part is the boyfriend always gets pissed off at the guys that are looking at his girlfriend. Meanwhile, his girlfriend is in her underwear practically in a public place. So why are you getting upset if your significant other is practically in her underwear? Don't get like offensive about it. Like, don't be a hypocrite. We're getting back to that word again, hypocrite. You know, and it's bullshit. Listen, you know why? You know, for the cops to run sting operations against prostitutes and johns, you know what? That means, I wonder what percentage of law enforcement really wants to tackle kingpin criminals. I think they don't want to go after the big kingpins because the real white collar criminals are run by maybe the top 2%, the corporations, the oligarch, and maybe the politicians say, "Oh, hands off! Don't hassle the real criminals."
Arrogant Martha Stewart, who wouldn't pay $40,000 back to the government for the roads and the highways and the firemen and the policemen that help her. She didn't want to pay their salary. She would have rather gone to jail.
Yeah, how miserly and arrogant does a person need to be that, you know, to not pay a lousy 40 grand? You're a multi-millionaire many times over. You can't pay 40 grand. She'd rather go to federal prison than to pay that. You got to be a cheap.
Pay taxes to help handicapped people or blind people.
Yeah, you got to be a real stingy, cheap fuck to do that. Now there are a lot of people, Jeff, that are very wealthy and they are stingy, cheap bastards in real life, and they're greedy.
Robert Kraft, that poor guy. Right, he's a billionaire, yes, but and it's hush hush now because he's got money and his lawyers are powerful. But, I mean, they dragged that guy's name under the mud.
I'm glad you brought it.
77-year-old, literally, he's 77 years old.
Right.
Right? He's a widower. He's got no wife. He does not have a wife. He can't go into a tiki towel place that's expensive. It's in Jupiter, Florida. That's not exactly Harlem. That's high-end Florida.
What did the man do? He's not directly involved in human trafficking. He's not involved in human trafficking. He's not involved in.
He doesn't want to do prenuptial agreements.
In minor, he's not fraternizing with minors. All he did was pay for sex. Oh, big deal. Well, I guess in Florida there must be like evangelical zealots or something there. Big deal. The old geezer wanted to pay for sex.
All get caught, James. Don't worry.
They wanted to get paid. He wanted to just pay for sex. Big fucking deal. The old geezer wanted to get laid. Oh
yeah, he's cool. He's not diddling boys like at the high school football locker rooms, like saying, "Hey, I'm Bob Kraft. I own the New England Patriots. Come over here, little boy. You want to play football?" No, he's not a pig like that.
No. Leave the poor man alone. Big fucking deal.
77 years old.
Big fucking deal. He was a simple John. He was a simple John. Big deal. He wanted to get laid. Leave him alone, like you said.
He's not exactly a guy that lives in the gutter. He's a billionaire. He has mansions.
Listen,
he has yachts. I guess like Jimmy Jones of the Dallas Cowboys has a bigger yacht than he does.
Listen,
the guy has a ship
what's that other rich fuck? Mark Cuban. He's another one that's real rich, right? The point is, Mr. Kraft doesn't need to go to a tiki towel place.
No.
He could have the finest escorts available in the world come to his a townhouse or beach house or whatever the hell he's got down there. You know, let's say he's got a beach house in Palm
Mar-a-Lago at Trump's in Palm Beach.
Right. Let's say Kraft has a mansion in Palm Beach. He could have the best escorts in the world go to his residence. He doesn't have to go to a.
He lives at the Breakers in Palm Beach, the Breakers Hotel.
Yeah.
He's got a condominium there.
There you go. Hey, I saw Oprah Winfrey's condominium in Palm Beach too, overlooking the beach, right on the beach. Right on the beach, you know. Hey,
he's a bad man because he went to a massage parlor.
Heaven forbid, he wanted to blow his empty out his flapjacks. He wanted to blow his load, the old man. Oh, that's such a terrible thing. And they dragged him through the mud for it.
He has thousands of employees that he gives paychecks to. Like, don't wreck the guy's life.
You know, but what really ticked me off, aside from Zuckerberg spying on my private messages, is the fact that when the government closed down the adult sections of Craigslist.com and totally closed down Backpage.com, all the escorts and all those people went to Tumblr and other websites, but the other websites they went to so far haven't been closed down yet. They still might be if these religious nuts continue what they're doing. But you know,
they're the biggest judges in the world, and Jesus said, "You're not supposed to judge." He's the Son of God. He's the only one that can judge people.
Yeah. Well, thank God my friend Mick told me that Twitter still has the option of having an adult section where you have to put in that you're at least 18 years of age and or
actually
older.
19 years old, but
yeah, or over to be able to view it, and but see, that's what they should do. Not abolish an adult section, but have people say, yes, I am over 18 years of age. Okay, click. Hey, even if they go to a website from a beer brewery, a craft beer brewery, or a winery, they have to click that they're 21 or older. Come on, people. Listen, in Europe, kids they drink wine and beer in Europe for thousands of years. They give children alcoholic beverages that are considered medicinal in Europe. And only here they make a big deal out of,
So a poor kid goes to war in Iraq or Afghanistan. He burns his face off. But he's not allowed, but he gets caught in a sting operation. Meanwhile, he fought for the country. He has fourth degree face burns.
Yes.
And no girl will go out with him, but he can't go to solicit. You know what I mean?
He can't go to a bar. He can't go to a bar legally and order a pint of beer, or vodka and tonic or something. He gets carded. Oh, could I see some ID? You're not 21 yet.
Meanwhile, he defended Zuckerberg's company in war.
Yeah.
But he's not allowed to talk on private message.
Right. You're allowed to put your life and limb on the line and come home in a body bag, but you can't go into a bar and legally drink. You figure that one out.
Mm.
We're getting back to that word again, hypocrisy. Now we're going to add insanity, but it's really amazing. And let me tell you something, Jeff. From my end, I'm looking at a new state-of-the-art studio here on YouTube, and you have no idea what a blockbuster of a show we're doing right now.
No, it's a good show. It's clean. It's factual.
Oh, it's very educational. And very
we're just saying what everybody else thinks.
And it's very hip to what's going on today. It's very current, and we are basically talking about what a lot of other people have noticed. All the male friends and people I know, they all say the same thing. They say, what is this hypocrisy with sexuality in America? What is this hang up that they have about sexuality.
Yeah, but it was okay for the ladies to strut around in these mini skirts in the 1970s.
Well, what about porno movies? They get paid.
Yeah.
They get paid like $3,000 or more to do a porno movie. Women. I mean, I don't see the porno studios getting raided and shut down.
Because they have Washington D.C. lobbyists who pay off the politicians to protect them.
Yeah.
So they keep getting rich.
Isn't that getting paid in exchange for sex? A porno star?
But a poor guy on a Friday night after he's had a couple of beers, at blackjack mulligans, can't get on the street because we don't have millions of dollars to pay off our Washington D.C. lobbyists.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason why something as frivolous as prostitution should be illegal. The same thing with alcoholic beverages. The same thing with medicinal marijuana, even recreational marijuana to a certain extent. I mean, we don't want people getting high and driving. We don't want that to happen. But if you're not going to drive, and you got a bong at home, what the hell, I mean.
Yeah, but if you're taking anabolic steroids, then you're still a fake, because then you're telling all your clients, if you hire me instead of this experienced guy who's got all kinds of credentials, and you want to look like me, then hire me, because I take anabolic steroids.
Well, the cougars with money in the health clubs hire the young boy toys, and especially the juice
experience.
Yeah, the juiced up guys get a lot of clients, and they're on steroids. And it's okay for Barry Bonds to brag that he passed up Hank Aaron's all-time home run record.
Also,
Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco,
Kenny Dykstra,
Sammy Sosa.
Roger Clemens.
I beat Roger Maris's 61 home runs. Oh, sure you did. Really? Well, guess what? Roger Maris was not on.
Roger Maris was eating steak every night, not steroids.
Not steroids. So of course, it's cheating. But and then it goes back to that word hypocrisy. It's the same.
And Scooby exposed it all. But everybody's like, but Scooby's a goof. Scooby's not a goof. He's telling the truth.
People that have a tendency to defend.
Who says he's a goof?
You notice that people that are in strength training and athleticism that have a tendency to defend the use of anabolic steroids.
Exactly, but they're critical against anybody who goes against it.
Now, because Scooby has a sense of humor and he's a whimsical, funny man, because he has a personality, they call him a goof because he's exposing the truth about the fitness world that has turned into a fitness industry. That's a big problem. Once it turns into an industry, but like the adult entertainment industry, it went from people just performing normal bodily functions based on raging hormones, and then it turned into an industry because sex sells, evidently. And but it's okay to have scantily clad women at car shows stroking the Ferrari with their fingertips.
To entice middle-aged men to smile like Cheshire cats.
Yeah, I mean, you can't outlaw sensuality in one aspect of society, and then permit it in another aspect of society. It's like feminism. You want your cake and eat it. You want a woman to make equal pay for equal job, but
Jennifer Lopez is shaking her ass on all these TV videos.
Yeah,
but yet, she's dethroning who that say R. Kelly and everybody else. But she's shaking her booty like there's no tomorrow. But now she doesn't want anything to do with R. Kelly.
Exactly, and I'm sure,
And Mariah Carey's the same way.
I'm sure all those large-breasted women showing cleavage on Fox News, they knew what they were doing when they put on those outfits. So when they cry like bitches about sexual harassment, in a way, they're being hypocritical also.
Yeah.
But
and Lady Gaga, she's talking bad against R. Kelly, and she's out there with her cleavage.
Yeah, we used to call that cock teaser back in my day.
You ever see the way Lady Gaga dresses?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but they had a big stink on CNN about R. Kelly, and Lady Gaga was quarterbacking the whole thing.
Unbelievable. But
yeah, James, hold on. It's okay for Michael Jackson to diddle underage boys in his bedroom.
Oh, because
that's okay, I guess, right?
Because he liked to diddle young.
Friends with Oprah Winfrey.
He liked to diddle young Caucasian boys.
Yeah, but because he's Oprah Winfrey's friend, it's okay.
There you go. Double standard. I forgot to use that word on the show. Double standards. A woman wants equal pay for equal job, but when it comes to dating, she wants the man to pay for everything and do everything.
I mean, the poor guy that was on 2020 with Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs, this Protestant minister, this African-American Protestant minister, he's in his late 50s, early 60s. He got the police sting there, right? He's begging the police. There's about 3 or 4 men police that arrested him in the hotel bedroom. They're like, please, sir, I'm a minister of my church. I'm going to lose my job.
Right.
He begged them, and they still arrested him. He was on vacation in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I mean, he begged them, please, sir, I'm a minister.
Hey.
He didn't say, I'm the Pope.
Hey, you know the former governor of Florida, the dildo-headed Rick Scott? He had that elderly minister arrested more than once for trying to feed the homeless. Oh, wow, what a crime,
Jeff.
What a crime. A minister that's elderly trying to feed the homeless people. Wow.
Yeah, something that the government should have been doing. He was doing for the government.
Yeah. Now, what about another segment of the homeless population that pisses everybody off, and that's the veterans who have come back from Afghanistan and Iraq, and they don't have
Vietnam and everything else.
They don't have a pot to piss in, and they're homeless. I mean, take care of your, but then again, it's okay to exploit good people, the little guy.
But it's okay to get unreported taxable income to help out these homeless veterans, with cash in a white envelope.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Right.
Nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
And then you have all the big charitable organizations that have a blood-sucking CEO making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and maybe a quarter on a dollar goes to the worthy cause if you're lucky.
Yep.
It's like, shouldn't a charity and a fundraiser be made up of volunteer work?
Yeah, that's called philanthropy.
Well, listen, I just want to say that, again, that Mr. Jeff Zambello has a very, very special personal project that he has been involved in, the Jeff Zambello Muscle and Ministry with a Message, where he's helping people that change their lives for the better, people who have hit rock bottom, and he's training them with real good, safe, drug-free physical fitness, as well as the Word of God and inspiration. And he has got the...
Yeah, I mean, I study the Bible every day, but yet, but here we are, we're talking about prostitution on the streets. But prostitution's in the Bible, for crying out loud.
Well, it could be indoors. It doesn't have to be all over the streets. It could be...
One of Jesus' grandmothers is Rahab, the prostitute.
Well, it could
also, Tamar. Tamar is another one of Jesus's grandmothers, who had sex with her father-in-law.
Well, wasn't
and Omer, the brother of the husband, spilled his seed on the floor. He wouldn't go inside her. So Judah, the father-in-law, hired Tamar as a prostitute in the Old Testament.
Well, wasn't Jesus's most loyal disciple Mary Magdalene a former prostitute?
Mary of Magdalene, yeah. Her name wasn't Magdalene. That's where she was from, Magdala.
Magdala, okay. And then he also had dinner with tax collectors too.
She was Mary the Magdalene.
Right, and she's the one that went to the tomb and discovered that he has risen, and she's the one that told the other disciples, and
the one that wiped the tears off of Jesus' feet with her hair.
Right. Yeah, and the other disciples didn't believe her that he had risen.
Yeah,
they didn't believe her, but she's the first person that Jesus appeared to.
Yeah,
you know, and she was a former prostitute, supposedly. I mean, I'm not a scholar of the Bible, but I think she was.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the other thing, it's really ridiculous. It's a frivolous, victimless crime.
Well, just like the Sadducees and the Pharisees of the New Testament.
Yeah.
You know? Look at me, listen to me, but don't do as I do.
The money
I'm one of the beautiful people.
Those money changers were very similar to the people on Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know, very similar. And
the diamond industry.
The diamond industry.
Far worse.
And you know, that was a spur of the moment decision I made to take that video, because I wanted to show people how wonderful the cubic zirconia looks at a tiny microscopic fraction of the cost of those so-called real diamonds. You know, and
we need to put that jewelry industry out of business to protect rookie people so they don't go into severe credit card debt, insurmountable credit card debt.
You know, I'm going to post that video on my Tumblr profile, so it appears on my Twitter profile, and because I have them interconnected.
Vacation homes in the Hamptons of Long Island, New York, with all those diamond sales.
You know what?
Aftermarket.
You know, in Passaic, New Jersey, where they have probably close to a dozen Asian massage parlors, they also have many retail stores that sell items at a discount on Main Avenue. Now, if you go down further on Main Avenue, you enter an Orthodox Jewish community where you have manicured, very large homes. You have no riffraff at all. You know, it's quiet, it's peaceful.
But they don't work at Goldman Sachs on Wall Street, do they?
No, I heard they own all the retail stores downtown that where all the Hispanic people are working, getting paid crap.
And in Paramus too, probably.
Yeah, they own all those retail stores. You know, when you see a furniture store commercial, oy vey, don't buy a Tempur-Pedic mattress, buy my mattress. A Bob-O-Pedic, this guy calls it. His name Bob's Furniture Store. Oy vey, buy Bob-O-Pedic. Yeah, right. Like
woman work here.
Yeah, like his foam mattress really is superior to Tempur-Pedic. Give me a break. You know,
you know what I'm talking about. Watch your mouths, woman work here. I'm like 53 years old. What the hell is this guy?
This tall loser with sweatpants on and bitch tits, Mr. Cohen in Dunkin' Donuts, is telling us to watch our mouths.
Yeah, you didn't even know us.
you could take pliers and twist one of his breasts, and I could take pliers and twist the other one.
And there'll be milk coming out of those babies.
Yeah, we
What?
found out he doesn't even work there. We thought he was a manager.
What is cheese coming out of his male breasts?
We thought he was management.
Yeah. And even the girl, one of the girls, the cashiers at Dunkin' Donuts was laughing. Oh, you mean that guy who comes in every day in the sweatpants? Yeah, he doesn't work here.
He's not the owner.
He's not the owner.
That big mouth.
He had his feet, with dog poop on the bottom of his basketball sneakers all over the leather chairs.
And what did he say? His father knew Arnold Schwarzenegger or worked out with him or something? Yeah, sure. Okay, got you. Yeah. All right. Anybody? Hey, talk is cheap. So, anyway, I think we pretty much covered it, and it was a very invigorating, informative, educational show. And to all you people out there, if you want to see more of yours truly and Jeff Zambello, join the International Brotherhood of Palavans Facebook group. Join it, and you'll see
Azad and Pretai Singh and a bunch of other people.
Pratye Singh and the great Ken Thiessen. And join. Feel free to join our old school, ancient warrior, drug-free physical fitness group, International Brotherhood of Palavans on Facebook, and you will see us in all of our splendor. All right.
Training 3,000 years ago.
That's right.
That's even more relevant today than ever.
Yeah, like the old Planet Fitness commercial. I pick things up and I put them down. Repetitions, progressive repetition. That's all it is. There's no rocket science to physical fitness.
Up goes down.
That's it. There's
together.
There's so much simplicity in the physical fitness world that there's no need for it to be an industry, folks. No need for it to be an industry. Really, it's absolute carnival, carnival barker bullshit. And what you see on infomercials and what you see on the internet, it really is fitness made simple. Which,
it is. All you're doing is you're harnessing one of the most basic physical elements there is in the world. It's called gravitational force.
Right.
And it creates centrifugal torque.
Right.
So, well, it's just like breathing. It's just gravity, harnessing gravity and generating or propelling torque, centrifugal torque, that's all it is.
Yeah, and Jeff Zambello teaches safe physical fitness training, rehabilitation, because he rehabilitated his own personal injuries, and it is safe, drug-free physical fitness at its best, but it's all-round physical fitness. It's not just one aspect. And then he also gives testimony with the words of the Lord, and he helps a lot of people, and he's doing his workshops at his local parish. You want to name the church organization nationwide? The whole
men's ministry, especially men outside the church that are disenfranchised from society, and those are the guys that I serve, because this is such an upside down world where everybody wants tough men to be emasculated and to laugh at the girls. Oh, you're so funny.
It's anti-alpha male society.
Yeah. So one of my missions that I've been called from God to do is to keep alpha men.
Yeah, and you know what? I had bad experiences with non-denominational Christian churches because they were made up of cliques. There was no.
Yeah,
There was no.
that's organizations.
Yeah.
Whether it's a corporation, a church, a fraternal organization like the Masons or the Knights of Columbus, or the Burger King Hamburger Flippers Society.
There was no fellowship within these churches.
Oh, I'm watching a Diamond commercial on the NFL Network.
You know, you had the Koreans wanted to stay with themselves. The other group wanted to stay with themselves. Everybody, they were separate. I guess you call them separatists. These, I guess, separatists or
whatever.
Isolation.
They're more needy than everybody else. They're more sick in the head. That's why they have to hide behind the veil of piety.
Well, my sister's former pastor didn't even bother to call her to give his condolences about our mother when she passed away. He couldn't. All the donations that she made, and this guy couldn't call her and give his condolences. I mean, nobody called her, and she quit that church.
Yeah,
and that's really sad when my sister tells me there are more positive, normal people outside of the non-denominational Christian churches than there are inside those churches.
Well, it's the same thing. It's like these people go to these freaking psychologists or psychiatrists for help. These people don't even know them. Meanwhile, the psychologist is more sick than the patients because they have to go see a psychologist themselves. So what people must do is reach deep down inside themselves, and you make yourself, other than God, you put God first, but then you make yourself the most important person in this world because you don't hear or worship anyone.
No, only Jesus belongs on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And it's what was I going to say? You know, there's a lot of people.
Organizational churches. You sit there and get a call, and
yeah, you know, there's a lot of hypocrites that really, they might say they do Bible study, but do they really do it? You know, that's the whole
thing. They want to be the leaders, James, because they're not leaders at their jobs in the daytime, so they need to be the church leaders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you know there's pastors that won't even let people get up and give testimony during a service? Like they won't allow anybody else to get up and speak.
Oh, we in my church we're always allowed to give testimony.
That's good. That's a good sign.
Which is very rare. It's the only church I've ever been to that you can do that.
Yeah, because a lot of them are about ego. You know, the pastor wants to be the only one that talks.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's about ego. But anyway, I'm going to finish off with the bosun's whistle. And it's been a blockbuster. I think one of our most blockbuster shows that we've done live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. And it's also, I also posted it on Facebook. So I'm just wondering how many of those darlings over there on Facebook bothered to watch. We shall see later on. Anyway, here goes. Arr! I'll talk to you.
God bless everybody.
God bless. I'll talk to you, Jeff.